Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches and lays foundation stone of 27 projects worth 2,000 crore rupees in Varanasi. Prime Minister to review COVID-19 related situation in the country this evening following rise in Omicron cases. Government says 236 cases of COVID variant Omicron reported in the country, out of which 104 already recovered. Over 60% of eligible population of India fully vaccinated now, says Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia. President Ramnath Kovind unveils bronze statue of father of library movement in the country, P.N. Panikar, in Thiruvananthapuram. National Human Rights Commission expresses serious concern on the problems of people affected by leprosy and mental health issues. Kisan Divas being celebrated across the country. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu pays tribute to former Prime Minister Chaudhry Charan Singh on the day. In hockey, Korea lifts Asian Champions Trophy in Dhaka, beating Japan in the final. And in Under-19 Asia Cup cricket, match between India and the UAE underway in Dubai. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new corona variant is a cause for concern. In this situation, we appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and help others get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone for 27 development projects worth 2,000 crore rupees at Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh today. He will distribute rural residential rights record, Gharoni, to over 20 lakh residents of the state. The Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone of Amul milk plant of Banas Dairy Sankul at Uttar Pradesh State Industrial Development Authority Food Park at Karkhiao in Varanasi. Spread across 30 acres of land, the dairy will be built at a cost of about 475 crore rupees and will have a facility for processing 5 lakh litres of milk per day. Mr. Modi will also lay the foundation stone for the biogas-based electricity generation plant for the Milk Producers Cooperative Union plant at Ramnagar in Varanasi.
Apart from milk, the Banas dairy plant will also produce 50,000 litres of ice cream, curd, lassi and Amul sweets per day. The plant will have a bakery unit and will also include a take-home ration plant to produce nutritional supplements for women and children. This project will benefit the local farmers of around 1,000 neighbouring villages of Purvanchal region like Varanasi, Jaunpur, Chandauli, Bhadohi, Ghazipur, Mirzapur and Azamgarh. The proposed biogas plant at Varanasi Milk Plant Ramnagar is so unique. Farmers supplying dung shall be paid about ₹1 per kg of dung upfront and would also be supplied with solid and liquid manure at subsidized rates through reverse supply chain. Varanasi dairy plant will be the first dairy plant in the country meeting its energy need from cow dung. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Varanasi.
During his visit, the Prime Minister will also launch a portal and a logo dedicated to the conformity assessment scheme of milk products developed by the Bureau of Indian Standards with the help of National Dairy Development Board. The Prime Minister will review COVID-19 related situation in the country amid the rising cases of COVID variant Omicron. He will chair a meeting in this regard this evening. In a review meeting last month, the Prime Minister had directed officials to work closely with state governments to ensure that there is proper awareness at the state and district level. He also directed that intensive containment and active surveillance should continue in clusters reporting higher cases. He stressed on adoption of COVID-appropriate behavior like masking and social distancing to avoid the spread of COVID-19.
The Union government has said a total of 236 cases of COVID variant Omicron have been reported so far in the country. Out of these total cases, 104 patients have already recovered. A maximum number of 65 cases have been reported so far from Maharashtra, followed by Delhi and Telangana. Omicron cases have been reported in 16 states and union territories. Health and Family Welfare Ministry today said over 139 crore 70 lakh doses of COVID vaccines have been administered in the country under the nationwide vaccination drive. The ministry said more than 70 lakh 17,000 COVID vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. 6,960 COVID patients have recovered during the last 24 hours, taking the national recovery rate to 98.40%. The country reported 7,495 new COVID cases in last 24 hours. Over 60% of the eligible population in India is fully vaccinated now. In a tweet, Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia said, aided by public participation and dedicated efforts of health workers, over 60% of the eligible population in the country is fully vaccinated now.
In Tamil Nadu, the total cases of Omicron variant have risen to 34. Speaking to reporters in Chennai today, Health Minister Subramanian said that 33 samples have been confirmed today. All the infected persons are isolated in the hospital with mild symptoms, he added. He also stated that their contacts too have been isolated. State Chief Secretary Irai Anbu will review the COVID situation with district collectors today. Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel today held a high-level meeting and reviewed the COVID-19 situation in the state. According to official sources, the Chief Minister said 70,000 tests are being carried out in the state on a daily basis. He said 85% of eligible persons have been covered for 2 doses, while 95% have been covered under the first dose of vaccine. The arrangements of testing of people coming from abroad and their contact tracing were also reviewed during the meeting. Gujarat is witnessing a rising trend of new cases of COVID-19 infections. 91 new cases were recorded in Gujarat yesterday. 9 new cases of Omicron variant were also confirmed yesterday, taking the total cases of Omicron in the state to 23.
Delhi Disaster Management Authority (DDMA) has issued an order banning all cultural events and gatherings for Christmas and New Year celebrations in the national capital in view of the rising cases of new COVID variant Omicron. In its order, DDMA has asked all the district magistrates and deputy commissioners of police to ensure that no cultural event and congregations take place during Christmas and New Year. It has asked the district magistrates to conduct a survey of the entire area falling in their jurisdiction and identify those pockets, colonies and markets which have potential of becoming super spreader or hotspot of COVID-19 virus and Omicron. The Haryana government has banned unvaccinated people from using public places from 1st of next month. Talking to AIR News, Haryana Health Minister Anil Vij said the unvaccinated people will not be able to use marriage hall, hotel, bank, any mall, any government office and bus services from 1st of January.
1 जनवरी से जिस भी व्यक्ति ने कोरोना की दोनों वैक्सीन नहीं लगाई होगी उसको किसी भी होटल में, रेस्टोरेंट में, बैंक्वेट हॉल में, मॉल में, किसी बैंक में, किसी दफ्तर में, रेल में, गाड़ी में या जहां पर भी भीड़-भाड़ वाले इलाके होंगे वहां पर उनको प्रवेश की इजाजत नहीं दी जाएगी। नोटिफिकेशन हमने कल जारी कर दी। वैसे भी हमारी टीमें घर-घर जाके लगा रही हैं, लेकिन अब ये कोरोना की आहट को देखते हुए ये कदम हमें उठाना पड़ा ताकि लोग खुद भी घरों से निकल कर आएं और वैक्सीन लगवाएं।
The World Health Organization chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has warned that blanket booster programs of COVID-19 vaccines are likely to prolong the pandemic rather than ending it by diverting supply to countries that already have high levels of vaccination coverage. Addressing a media briefing at Geneva, the WHO Director General said it will give the virus more opportunity to spread and mutate. He said no country can boost its way out of the pandemic and boosters cannot be seen as a ticket to go ahead with planned celebrations without the need for other precautions. China is facing yet another COVID-19 outbreak, forcing the government to put a lockdown on northwest Chinese city of Xi'an. State media reported the lockdown in Xi'an is one of the largest lockdowns in the country this year, as the city has imposed tight curbs on outbound travel as well as ordinary commuting within the city. As the New Year celebrations are approaching amid the scare of the Omicron variant and facing Winter Olympics not far, the new outbreak has forced the authorities to put all residential communities under closed management. Xi'an has also cancelled all flights and trains from the city. Xi'an is also facing a spike in hemorrhagic fever cases, a natural epidemic disease with a high fatality rate, posing a dual challenge for the city to respond.
The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency said today that more than 100 people died in COVID-19 in the last 24-hour period. That raised the country's total number of pandemic fatalities to over 5,000. In the process, South Korea set a new record for COVID-19 deaths on Thursday, as officials warned that the highly transmissible Omicron variant would soon become the dominant strain. In recent weeks, South Korea has been grappling with soaring infections and deaths. In a bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagrukta series, tonight, Dr. Harish Pemde of Kalavati Saran Children's Hospital in Delhi will be with us to answer the queries related to coronavirus. This program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on telephone number 011-2342-1230 and 011-2342-1764. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches and lays foundation stone of 27 projects worth 2,000 crore rupees in Varanasi. Prime Minister will review COVID-19 related situation in the country this evening following rise in Omicron cases. Government says 236 cases of COVID variant Omicron reported in the country, out of which 104 already recovered. Over 60% of eligible population of India fully vaccinated now, says Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia. President Ramnath Kovind unveils bronze statue of father of library movement in the country, P.N. Panikkar, in Thiruvananthapuram. National Human Rights Commission expresses serious concern on the problems of people affected by leprosy and mental health issues. Kisan Divas being celebrated across the country. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu pays tribute to former Prime Minister Chaudhry Charan Singh on the day. In hockey, Korea lifts Asian Champions Trophy in Dhaka, beating Japan in the final. And in Under-19 Asia Cup cricket match between India and UAE underway in Dubai. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the Midday News. President Ramnath Kovind has said it is the fundamental duty of every citizen of India to develop a scientific temper, humanism and a spirit of inquiry and reform. The President was speaking after unveiling a bronze statue of P.N. Panikkar, father of library and literacy movement in Kerala, at an event held in Thiruvananthapuram today.
I feel a great deal of satisfaction after unveiling the statue of pioneer of learning, literacy and library movements, the late P.N. Panikkar. I am thankful to the members of P.N. Panikkar Foundation for giving me this opportunity to be here with you all.
Mr. Kovind also said that high literacy and education levels in Kerala have helped the state to lead other states on several indices of human development, including aspects of sustainable development. The President said it is a unique feature of Kerala that in every village, even in the remotest villages, there is a library. Governor Arif Mohammad Khan, Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, Union Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan and other dignitaries also attended the ceremony. Today is Kisan Divas or National Farmers Day. Kisan Divas is celebrated throughout the country on this day to commemorate the birth anniversary of the 5th Prime Minister of India, Chaudhry Charan Singh. In addition, the day is celebrated in honour of the contribution of Indian farmers and to glorify their importance in the country. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has paid tributes to former Prime Minister Chaudhry Charan Singh on his birth anniversary. He said that Chaudhry Charan Singh was a champion of farmers' rights. Mr. Naidu has also expressed gratitude to the industrious farmers on Kisan Divas. He called upon all stakeholders to make every effort to make farming profitable and ensure that our farmers are duly recognized and rewarded for their hard work.
National Human Rights Commission NHRC has expressed serious concerns on the problems of leprosy-affected people and those affected by mental health issues. NHRC had organized a meeting of its core group on health and mental health in New Delhi yesterday. In the session on leprosy, NHRC's chairperson, Justice Arun Mishra, said that there are still many discriminatory laws. He said that these need to be amended or repealed and replaced with policies and frameworks that will protect human rights of people affected with leprosy. In the session on COVID-19 and mental health, some of the important suggestions included that states should submit action taken report on NHRC advisories on mental health, increase budgetary allocation for mental health and, in particular, for district mental health program and increase dedicated staff for psychiatric care. In Punjab, 2 people have died in a blast inside a court complex in Ludhiana. 4 people have also been reported to have suffered serious injuries in the explosion. The blast reportedly took place around 12:20 p.m. in a bathroom on the 2nd floor of the building. The intensity of the blast was so huge that it damaged the walls of the bathroom and shattered glass of windows of nearby rooms. Police have cordoned off the area and fire engines have reached the spot. The court complex is located near the District Commissioner's office in the heart of Ludhiana city. More details are awaited.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember the valiant warrior of the War of Independence, Swami Shraddhanand, who died on 23rd of December 1926. An Arya Samaj sannyasi, he propagated the teachings of Dayananda Saraswati and worked for social reforms in the 1920s.
Swami Shraddhanand founded Gurukul on the 16th of May 1900 at Gujranwala, which was later moved to Haridwar.
During the national struggle for independence in the year 1919, he plunged into the agitation under the leadership of Gandhiji. He helped organize protests against the Rowlatt Act. When Gandhiji was arrested, Swami Shraddhanand led a protest march in Delhi, and when a soldier threatened to fire upon the crowd, he bared his chest and dared him to shoot. As a social worker, he always worked to improve the conditions of the poor and the downtrodden. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, he lived a hero and died a hero.
We also remember freedom fighter and 5th Prime Minister of India, Chaudhry Charan Singh, who was born on the 23rd of December 1902 in Meerut, Uttar Pradesh. Charan Singh followed Mahatma Gandhi in non-violent struggle for independence and left his lucrative law career to join the freedom movement. From 1930 to 1947, he served several years in jail for participating in various struggles against the British government.
After independence, Charan Singh dedicated his life to the cause of farmers. He served as Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh twice and was elected the 5th Prime Minister of India in 1979. We salute the great nationalist and leader of farmers.
We also remember freedom fighter P. Kakkan, who left us on the 23rd of December 1981. Fondly known as Kakkanji, he was born on the 18th of June 1908 in Tumbaipatti, Melur in Madras Presidency. Kakkan was drawn to the independence movement during his youth. In 1939, when the state government brought the Temple Entry Authorization and Indemnity Act, Kakkan led the temple entry of so-called lower castes at Madurai. He participated in the Quit India movement and was sent to Alipur jail. In 1946, he was elected to the Constituent Assembly.
After independence, Kakkan served as Minister in the Tamil Nadu state government. We salute the great nationalist.
भारत के 44वें स्वतंत्रता दिवस के इस शुभ अवसर पर मैं आप सबको अभिवादन करता हूं। मैं एक साधारण कार्यकर्ता हूं जिसका जन्म एक छोटे से गांव में हुआ था। लोकतंत्र की महिमा है, आपका आशीर्वाद है और मेरा अहोभाग्य है कि मैं आज इस ऐतिहासिक लाल किले से आपको संबोधित कर रहा हूं।
The 23rd of December is also the death anniversary of P.V. Narasimha Rao. Born on the 28th of June 1921, Narasimha Rao was active during the Indian independence movement. P.V. Narasimha Rao was part of Vande Mataram movement in the late 1930s in the Hyderabad state.
Narasimha Rao secured representation for depressed classes in politics during his tenure as Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. He served as the 9th Prime Minister of India from 1991 to 1996.
He is credited to have laid the foundation of economic reforms and the reintegration of the Indian economy with the global economy in 1991.
Narasimha Rao was also an accomplished linguist. Rao's mother tongue was Telugu, but he also had an excellent command over 8 Indian languages and 8 foreign languages. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In our program Parikrama today, we have a special roundup on unsung heroes of the Indian freedom movement in our series Veer Gatha at 4:45 p.m.
आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर आकाशवाणी समाचार के कार्यक्रम परिक्रमा में बृहस्पतिवार को शाम 4:45 पर सुनिए देश की आजादी में अपना अमूल्य योगदान देने वाले भारतीय स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के सेनानियों की वीर गाथा।
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404, issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago.
On to sports. In a scintillating match, Korea defeated Japan to lift the trophy in the Hero Asian Champions Trophy hockey in Dhaka yesterday. The five-nation tournament came to an end with 2 matches being played on the last day of the game. India defeated Pakistan 4-3 to secure the bronze medal, while Korea defeated Japan 4-2 to emerge Asian champions. Speaking exclusively to Prasar Bharati, India's captain Manpreet Singh praised the players of both the teams for their excellent game. He expressed determination to do better for the forthcoming international tournaments. In the final match, Korea fought back brilliantly to emerge victorious. Korea scored the equalizer at almost last second of the match to force the game to go into penalty shootout. Korean goalkeeper denied 2 goals to Japan during the shootout, bagging 4-2 win for Korea. Kanta Tanaka of Japan was declared the best player of the tournament, while Suraj Karkera of India was adjudged the best goalkeeper. Bangladesh Information and Broadcasting Minister Hassan Mahmood gave away the prize and the trophy to the winning team. India's under-19 were 215 for 3 in 44th over in the 50-over Asia Cup in Dubai when reports last came in. UAE won the toss and chose to bowl. This is the second time after the 2013-14 edition that the UAE is hosting this 50-over tournament. India has dominated this tournament, lifting the ACC Under-19 Cup 7 times and once sharing the title with Pakistan in 2012. The Prime Minister will share his thoughts with the people of the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 a.m. on the 26th of this month. It will be the 84th episode of the monthly radio program. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said he is receiving several inputs for this month's Mann Ki Baat on the 26th, which will be the last one of 2021. He said the inputs cover so many different areas and celebrate the life journeys of several people working to bring grassroots level changes. People can dial the toll-free number 1-800-117800 and record their message for the Prime Minister in either Hindi or English. Phone lines will remain open till tomorrow. It will be broadcast on the entire network of AIR and Doordarshan, AIR News website and News on AIR mobile app. It will also be streamed live on the YouTube channels of the AIR News, DD News, PMO and Information and Broadcasting Ministry.
A famous statue at the University of Hong Kong marking the Tiananmen Square massacre has been removed. The statue showed piled-up corpses to commemorate pro-democracy protesters killed by Chinese authorities in 1989. It was one of the few remaining public memorials in Hong Kong commemorating the incident, which is a highly sensitive topic in China. The university had ordered in October the removal of the statue, called the Pillar of Shame. The Danish sculptor Jens Galschiot behind the statue said its removal was really brutal. In Thailand, green sea turtle have returned to the sea after laying eggs on a deserted Thai beach. The green sea turtle dived back into the turquoise-colored waters of the Andaman Sea. It is a welcome sight for biologists who say the absence of tourists spurred the marine animal's return. The turtle's nesting was spotted in November by scientists. In about 2 months, the 100 eggs will hatch and babies will fly towards the sea, guided by the moonlight. In some more news, Rajya Sabha Secretariat today said factually incorrect narrative has been presented by certain sections in the matter of stalemate over the suspension of 12 members of the House and adjournments during the session that adjourned sine die yesterday. Rajya Sabha Secretary General in a statement today said the chairman urged both the sides to resolve the matter amicably through discussion given the stated positions of both the sides. He said on several occasions in the past, the chairman has expressed concern over strategic disruptions to derail the functioning instead of debating issues under relevant provisions by giving due notices. He said it was recalled that some opposition parties refused to nominate their members on the committee that the chairman proposed to set up to inquire into the incidents of August 11th that led to the suspension of some members. He also said chairman even suggested to the government to move a motion for termination of suspension in case such regret was expressed. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches and lays foundation stone of 27 projects worth 2,000 crore rupees in Varanasi. Prime Minister to review COVID-19 related situation in the country this evening following rise in Omicron cases. Government says 236 cases of COVID variant Omicron reported in the country, out of which 104 already recovered. Over 60% of eligible population of India fully vaccinated now, says Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia. President Ramnath Kovind unveils bronze statue of Father of Library Movement in Kerala, P.N. Panikar in Thiruvananthapuram. National Human Rights Commission expresses serious concern on the problems of people affected by leprosy and mental health issues. Kisan Divas being celebrated across the country. In hockey, Korea lifts Asian Champions Trophy in Dhaka, beating Japan in the final. And in Under-19 Asia Cup cricket, match between India and UAE underway in Dubai. And with that, we end the midday news.